Now, to the game itself. I think football should limit itself to only one rule. Each down begins in an orderly manner. That's it. After that, the players should be allowed to do whatever they want. If there's a fight, you move it off to one side of the field. Let it run its course, no restrictions. If several 300-pound linemen are crippling a place kicker, fine. Let them continue. We shouldn't be trying to suppress the natural exuberance of athletes. Keep in mind, these men are physical freaks, full of drugs and anger, and they're here to entertain us. They enjoy being injured. Let them go about their business. So much for upgrading the violence. Here's my suggestion for adding excitement. Currently, each team is allowed 45 players on the squad, but most of them stand around watching the game from the sidelines. If I were in charge, this would not be happening. Instead, I would have all 90 men out on the field at all times. Offense, defense, special teams, everyone. What football really needs is 90 steroid monstrosities geeked on amphetamines racing around the field trying to hurt one another. Here's another way to spice up the game. Leave the injured players on the field. Let them lie there. These men are supposed to be tough. You can't coddle them just because they break something. Let the other guys play around them. If they get stepped on, tough titty. These macho pinheads are always talking about how it's a big war going on out there. Fine. Let the Red Cross come around and pick them up. And regarding this taunting behavior that so many people find offensive, I don't see the problem. In fact, I don't think taunting goes nearly far enough. In my opinion, and I'm certainly no professional athlete, after a good hard tackle, the defensive player should be allowed to pull down his pants and masturbate on the man he tackled. It seems like a simple thing, but it would change the whole tempo of the game. And if he can't ejaculate because 60,000 people are watching, you hit him with a 15-yard penalty for delay of game. I end my suggestions for improving football by taking a look at one of those game-end rituals, the pouring of Gatorade on the winning coach. To my mind, this is far too fruity for football. It's barely appropriate for a 6th-grade dodgeball team. What ought to happen is the winning team should be allowed to come across the field and spike the losing coach. Just spike him. 4 linebackers turn him upside down and pile drive him head first into the ground. Give him an incentive to work a little harder on next week's game plan. And now the evening news. Police in Maine announced today they have broken up a ring of amphetamine users. 6 of the speed freaks were arrested on the spot. Another 4 got away by running completely across Canada. It has been disclosed that several years ago, when Mother Teresa won the Nobel Peace Prize, she returned the money, claiming it had germs on it. A man who was attempting to walk around the world drowned today on the first leg of his journey, which would have taken him from San Francisco to Honolulu. The owner of a Florida massage parlor has been arrested by police. Quote, "There weren't any serious violations," said the officers. "She just rubbed us the wrong way." Unquote. Doctors treating a 90-year-old pregnant woman claim that because of her advanced age, she will have a grown-up. A Boston man who last year shot and killed all 12 members of a jury that convicted him of murder goes on trial again today. Courtroom insiders say jury selection is expected to take quite some time. Silent film star Mark Dunbar died today in Hollywood. He had no last words. However, he did wiggle his eyebrows and make several exaggerated gestures with his arms. A Cincinnati man has revealed that last month a local hospital, instead of giving him a vasectomy, castrated him. A hospital spokesman explained, "It all started as a joke. The doctors pretended they were going to castrate him, but he got real snotty, so they went ahead and did it to teach him a lesson." The patient, though upset, seemed philosophical. He said, "The way I look at it, it's that much less to wash." A New Hampshire inventor has developed a machine he claims will grant him any wish. Reporters were greeted at his home by hundreds of naked women who said they had been blowing him for the past 6 months. A 65-year-old fitness expert trotting backward from Winnipeg to Chile in an effort to promote backward trotting was killed today when she was hit by a truck head-on from the rear. And finally, on the lighter side, here's a human interest story about man's best friend. It seems 65-year-old James Driscoll was asleep in his downtown hotel room last week when he was awakened by the sound of a dog barking. When he awoke, the room was filled with smoke, and he could not see to get out. The dog led him out of the room, down the hall, and into an elevator shaft, where he plunged 8 stories to his death. Seems it wasn't his dog. Around our house, I'm known as Icebox Man. One of my duties is to keep people from standing too long with the door of the icebox open while they decide what to eat. You know, someone smokes 3 joints and decides to inventory the refrigerator. Drives me crazy. Close the fucking door, will you? You're letting out all the cold. Look, here's $20. Go down to Burger King, why don't you? I'll save that much on electricity. Close the goddamn door. If you can't decide what you want, take a Polaroid picture. Go figure it out, come back later. You kids are lucky. We didn't have Polaroids. We had to make an oil painting. I try not to let them get me down, though, 'cause Icebox Man has an even bigger job. Picking through the refrigerator periodically, deciding which items to throw away. Most people won't take that responsibility. You know, they grab what they want and they leave the rest. They figure someone is saving that. Sooner or later it'll be eaten. Meanwhile, the thing, whatever it is growing smaller and denser and has become permanently fused to the refrigerator shelf. Well, folks, Icebox Man is willing to make the tough decisions. And I never act alone. I always include the family. I noticed some egg salad here that's been in the icebox for a while. Are we engaged in medical research I haven't been told about? May I assume from the color of this meatloaf that it's being saved for St. Patrick's Day? Someone call a museum and have this onion dip carbon dated. And how about this multicolored Jell-O from Christmas? It's July now. If no one wants this, I'm going to throw it away. Did your mother ever pull that stuff on you? Offer you some food that if you didn't eat it, she was going to just throw it away? Well, doesn't that make you feel dandy? Here's something to eat, Petey. Hurry up, it's spoiling. Bobby, eat this quickly. The green part is spreading. If you don't eat it, I'm going to give it to the dog. It's so nice to be ahead of the dog in the food chain. Icebox Man has had some interesting experiences. Have you ever been looking through the refrigerator and you come across a completely empty plate? Nothing on it but a couple of food stains? It's unnerving, isn't it? I think to myself, could something have eaten something else? Maybe the Spam ate the olives. Maybe that half-eaten chicken isn't really dead. He's living on our food. Sometimes I picture a little mouse in a parka, hiding behind the mustard, waiting for the refrigerator light to go off, so he can resume his cold-weather foraging. Probably the worst experience is reaching into the refrigerator and finding something you simply cannot identify at all. You literally do not know what it is. It could be meat. It could be cake. At times like these, I try to bluff. Honey, is this good? What is it? I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. It looks like meat cake. Smell it. It has no smell whatsoever. It's good. Put it back. Someone is saving it for something. That's what frightens me. That someone will consider it a challenge and use it in soup, simply because it's there. It's a leftover. What a sad word, leftover. But think about this. Leftovers make you feel good twice. First, when you put them away, you feel thrifty and intelligent. I'm saving food. Then a month later, when blue hair is growing out of the ham and you throw it away, you feel really intelligent. I'm saving my life. There are many expressions that we just take for granted. You know, we use them all the time, yet we never examine them carefully. We just say them as if they really made sense. Like, legally drunk. Well, if it's legal, what's the fucking problem? Leave me alone, officer. I'm legally drunk. You know where you can stick it. Well, why do we always assume everyone knows where they can stick it? Suppose you don't know. Suppose you're a new guy and you have absolutely no idea where you can stick it. I think there ought to be a government booklet entitled Where to Stick It. Now that I think of it, I believe there is a government booklet like that. They send it to you on April 15th. Undisputed heavyweight champion. Well, if it's undisputed, what's all the fighting about? To me, undisputed means we all agree. Here you have two men beating the shit out of one another over something they apparently agree on. Makes no sense.